bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Good Tuesday night and welcome into the high school fan zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm Randy Rosetta. I am joined for the Plainsman fan zone tonight by Judd Thrash to my far left and Quarren Boyd. I'm used to calling him Q Boyd, so I'm going to stick with Q. That's much easier to remember than Quarren, but if it gets me in trouble with anybody, you let me know.
You'll be fine.
Make sure when you talk, you get that. People want to hear that voice of yours.
Yes, sir.
Coach was just telling me you're kind of a renaissance man. You're a football player, basketball player, you run track, you're into cybersecurity. What else? Photography?
Yes, sir.
I get everything?
Yes, sir.
You must be a pretty good student, I would imagine.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Plus, you got cool glasses. I talked the other day because we kind of have the similar glasses, so that makes me feel like I'm kind of styling a little bit. The Plainsmen are coming off of a gut wrencher, a 29-28 loss at Abilene Wylie. I told Coach Thrash we'll skim over this pretty quick. Came down to the last play. Now, not any game comes down to one play, but had a chance to line up for a game-winning field goal. Snap got back to where it needed to be. Didn't get handled correctly. You never got a chance to get the kickoff. But something that you said a minute ago kind of encourages me. You said your guys have come back to practice with energy and you like what you see. That's a good sign after a loss like that.
Yeah, I'm real pleased with our team this year. We're a good football team. And, last year we started out 2-0 and we didn't play well down the stretch. We're getting better every week, and that's a sign of a good team. We're just putting the pieces together, and it doesn't matter until district starts. Like I said, last year we were 2-0 when the season started, and we didn't play well in district. And so I'm excited about what we have to offer in district, and our goals are still ahead of us. We want to win a district championship, and we want to make the playoffs, and we got a good team, and very, very pleased with the way we played Friday. We established the run. I think Kyrie Baxter had 117 yards. I think Des Williams had 165 yards rushing, and we have a balanced attack on offense, and that's what it's going to take to win a district championship. And, last year we were one-dimensional with the run game, but Luke's doing a great job in the pass game. Q's doing well at receiver. And we have two guys that'll join our team again that'll make our receiving core even that much better. Cam Taylor stepped up and played good. It was his first game. And so when we have Q, Cam Taylor, and Landon, we're going to be really, really, really a threat. I mean, we hadn't put all the pieces out there yet. And so we got a lot more upside that's coming. And defensively, we're playing really good right now. We're getting a lot of stops. 14 of those points came out of two catches that were, questionable whether they were in or out. But, so that was 14 points. And then we turned over the ball, I think, we at the 5-yard line, so they had a short field. So that's 21 points that, we shouldn't have given up. So the defense played really, really well. So I was pleased with our team. Unfortunately, we drove the ball down in the fourth quarter, took it down when the time was ticking, and we set it up for a good field goal and just had a bad hold. And those are some young guys, and it was their first time to be in that situation. And I told them a while ago we were practicing, holding and kicking, and I said, you'll be ready for the moment next time it gets here. And right now it doesn't count. And I said, but next time you'll be ready because you've had the experience.
Coaches can tell you guys to not be down and kind of pump you back up, but as players, especially one of the leaders, one of the older guys, how do you make sure that your teammates don't let a loss like that bug you? What do you tell them? What's your advice to especially younger guys?
Basically, I say just next play or just have that next game mentality, because it's gonna happen. You might lose. It might be certain mistakes in the game that can mess you up, and you just got to be able to have next play mentality and just keep going forward. Just be able to get better. Whatever you was messing up on, you want to just perfect those mistakes and perfect your craft.
Coach was just talking. He's excited about some of the guys you're getting back on offense, especially in that passing game. That's going to help you.
Yes, sir.
When we talked this summer, you talked about Luke's evolution and becoming better because he's got a home run hitter in you.
Yes, sir.
And now you've got a couple of lieutenants there next to you. How much does that change things when you've got more than one guy that can get over the top of a defense?
He'll be able to spread us all out more. He'll be able to get certain people open, and he'll just be able to get teams or get us open where they won't be able to just target one guy, and they'll be able to spread open every other receiver that's out there.
I imagine you're getting a lot of attention right now if you were the
Yes, sir.
The one veteran guy they could kind of look at, but you're still putting up numbers.
Yes, sir.
What's clicking for you so far, with you and Luke in particular?
Chemistry from the summertime. Even last year, just putting in work together, being able to get that timing right with each other, to be able to have that chemistry and be able to be on point. Even with, the double teams or just me getting targeted as much.
Judd, you mentioned that last drive, which didn't end how you wanted to, but I listened to it and I talked to a couple people who were there. They talked about how effective the drive was, that it was a kind of a methodical, I don't know if it was 2-minute or 4-minute drive, but you didn't have any panic. There was guys just executing and making plays. That's something you can kind of use as a building block as well, I would guess.
Yeah, I like the fight we got. Our team fights. We're a second-half team. I probably should start deferring because we're a second-half team. I've taken the ball twice. I think I'm going to start deferring because Monterey's a second-half team. We play our best football in the second half. And it's like I told the guys, when I was at Lake Travis when we won the state championship, we dropped 2 games. In the preseason, we snapped a 46-game winning streak. And that team went on to win the state title. So, pre-district is, to me, warm-up games just to get your team ready for district so you can figure out, what goes wrong. And I think we're exactly where we need to be because, we got heart, we got fight, and when we're playing good, it's just we gotta get it over the top. And that starts Friday, homecoming with El Paso Franklin.
Those halftime speeches must be pretty good from the coaches, Q.
Yes, sir.
They get you guys redirected at halftime pretty well?
Yes, sir. The coaches, they talk to us and just get us back pumped up for the second half. But then also, we got the players that's stepping up and leading in there, trying to just help correct mistakes. Even with the kids being on the sideline, seeing the other players, just being able to help them, seeing what they see on the field.
How different, for both you guys, how different was Abilene Wylie compared to Choctaw? Because you mentioned the athletes Choctaw had, and Abilene Wylie's tradition or reputation has always been about their tradition, their fundamentals, how well they do things. We'll get you to talk about it when we come back for a break, but I know that that's a team that always seems to, you have to beat them. They don't tend to give it away.
That's right. They counter off your mistakes, and we had 2 turnovers, and they countered.
We will talk more about that when we come back. Plainsmen, as Judd mentioned, play El Paso Franklin for their homecoming Friday night at Lowry Field. This is Randy Rosetta with 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
That game will be on 93.7 The Eagle with my guy David Thetford and I guess Randy Dean. Randy sometimes strays off and he does some stuff. I think he may be trying to get away from David once in a while. You can't completely blame him on that deal, but Judd, we were talking a little bit about Franklin, and they're a 6A program down in El Paso. Jay Northcutt, the friendship coach, said that they're supposed to be one of the better teams down there in 6A this year. Of course, the Tigers monitor those guys because that's who they play in the first round. What is your initial assessment of them when you got a chance to look at them on video? They're 1-1 right now, so it's they've gotten beat pretty good, but they also got a good win.
I think defensively, they pursue the ball well. They run to the ball. I think their front seven's really good. They send outside blitzes, some X blitzes with those outside backers. I think their secondary, is probably not as doesn't have as much experience as their front seven. Offensively, they run inside and outside zone. Quarterback will pull it. Got to be disciplined. Our defensive ends got to play well this week, and they throw the ball pretty well. Not real. They don't have a lot of formations, but they'll play hard, and we're gonna have to come play. We're gonna have to play good football. It's like I tell the team, you can't underestimate anyone. Everyone has the capability of beating you if you don't play good football, and so they're a sound team. They play hard, and so we're gonna have to come out. And we're going to start early. We're going to have to start early. We don't start real fast, or we haven't the past 2 weeks. We got to come out and start fast.
Coming to Lubbock is usually a big deal for those El Paso teams, and you'll go down there next year, of course, I assume. Is it home and home? They like to come up here and it's kind of like teams here going to play Metroplex teams. It's kind of their chance to flex some muscle a little bit. Q, when a team's kind of got that chip on their shoulder, how do you kind of prepare mentally knowing that those other guys are going to kind of come out with that mind frame?
Really just come out the same way. I mean, nothing really changes. I mean, you just got to go out there and do your job, and then everything will come together. You and your teammates do your jobs, and then everything will fall in place.
Looks like they have one young man, Ernie Powers, who has run for 303 yards and 4 touchdowns. So they have, like you said, Judd, they have some weapons. They've got some guys who do things with the ball in their hands. Yeah,
I like the way that running back runs. He runs with high knees, and he's a bigger back, and so he runs the ball well. They got a tackle that's real talented, offensive tackle that plays nose guard as well. They got probably 4 two-way players. They play some guys both ways. Got a receiver. He's number 9. He's their top receiver. He's a good player, and that running back's pretty good. The quarterback's good too. He'll scramble. He keeps his eyes downfield. He does a good job. So we're just going to have to come out and play good defense, run to the ball, make sure we wrap up, and I think our kids are excited that the home crowd gets to see how much we've improved.
This will be your first time at home. That's a lot of times a high school team, you go home, but you guys have had to wait for a couple weeks. Q, how kind of follow up on what Coach said? How excited are you to get back in front of your family and friends and high school teammates and classmates?
I'm pretty excited because we haven't really been able to have fans come out and watch us and see the things we can do. They might see it over the screen, but they haven't seen it in real life and see us actually on the field and see the changes we done made and see the different things we're able to do.
You don't have to wear those white jerseys. You get to wear the home color jerseys.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to tell you. Coach likes to surprise people with what y'all come out in, so I'm not going to get you to reveal anything. What have you seen about these guys, about Franklin, when you've looked at video? What kind of catches your attention about them?
They do defensive wise. They have a very good front seven. They pursue the ball very well. They go to the ball very well. Secondary, they're not very bad. I mean, if we don't come out and play, they'll be able to stop anything what we're doing. We just got to be able to play offensively. The running back is a real good running back, especially with the QB being able to do the RPO or read options. We just got to be disciplined on defense too, and then just playing the pass game. I mean, they have a good receiver, but I mean, anybody could step up at any moment.
I imagine with everything else you do, being a two-way starter, you probably soak up a lot of video during the week.
Yes, sir.
You stay busy. We're going to talk a little bit more just about some keys to the game with Judd and Q when we come back. This is Randy Rosetta with the High School Sports Zone, the Monterey Plainsman Fan Zone on 100.7 FM.
Bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the High School Fan Zone. We're in the final segment of the Plainsman Fan Zone on 100.7 FM. Just a reminder again, Monterey's homecoming game Friday night at Plains Capital Park, Lowry Field against El Paso Franklin, 7 p.m. We double-checked on the radio to make sure I get that right, get those folks information out there. That will be on 93.7 The Eagle. Judd, we've talked a lot about what you guys have done, who's playing well for you, but there's always going to be certain things against certain opponents that you have to lock in and do well. It's still early in the season, so there's kind of some generality, but what are some things you want to see your guys take a step forward with against El Paso Franklin?
Eliminate the turnovers on offense.
How many do you have in 2 games?
Quite a few. I think probably 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Got to eliminate the turnovers. We also have to continue to establish our run game, which will open up the pass. And on defense, we got to tackle well, and we got to have good eyes. We're not reading our keys sometimes. We got to read our keys, and just continue to play hard. And right now, we're playing hard. We just got to eliminate the turnovers, and I feel like we haven't hit our best yet. I mean, we're getting better every week. And like I said, there was a big improvement from week 1 to week 2, and that's what you want to see. So I feel good about it. It's like David Thepfer sent me a text, and he said Monterey football is a lot better than you guys have been. And he's right. Our team's a lot better. We're playing really good football. And so, like I said, we're getting better every week. And so I'm anxious to see what kind of product we'll put out there Friday. And, we just got to continue to make adjustments at halftime. I think our coaching staff's doing a great job of making adjustments at halftime. I think that contributes to how well we're playing in the second half, and I think our players they're in a better mental state in the second half. We got to come out and start early. You know, we got to start fast.
We'll get Q to talk about that in a second, but before we get away, you mentioned the running game. The stats I had Dez Williams for 24 for 195. Your stats may be different. That's what I got from the guy down there. Yeah, regardless, it sounds like he had a pretty good night.
Yeah, he did.
What was different from week 1 to week 2, other than obviously the opponent on the other side? But what did he do better running the ball?
I think their vision. You know, there wasn't so much dancing. They saw the crease and hit it. You know, and Kyrie did an excellent job. He got involved in the run game. He did better. He saw the crease and hit it, and he's like a big bull. He's hard to bring down. I mean, that dude is a big joker.
Yes, he is.
He runs physical. He has a great stiff arm. You know, 2 different styles. You know, Kyrie's, you know, he's going to come at you. And Dez is a little bit more elusive than Kyrie, so that, you know, it's like thunder and lightning. And you know, one's elusive and the other one's a power back. So it's a good combo.
I'm going to ask you the same kind of question I did about having a few more receivers on the field, having a running game that's clicking and getting going. How much does that help you and Luke throwing the ball?
It helps way more. I mean, it helps way more because of us being able to run the ball. Then we're able to do certain things at receiver too, which means like them bringing in people in the box, which opens up the pass and being able to get more one-on-one matchups. Because with the receivers we have, I mean, one-on-one matchups, I feel like we can win every time.
Which one of those 2 backs would you want to take on as a defensive back?
This.
If Coach is talking the truth there, it sounds like Kyrie's. So I'm an old dude. So my favorite backs of all time are Earl Campbell and Christian Okoye. If you don't know who they are, Google them. Those are guys who they weren't looking for out of bounds. They were looking for. They wanted to light somebody up. Is that Kyrie's method?
Yes, sir.
So something that Coach talked about, because, again, coaches can tell guys you have to do X, Y, and Z and tell you've got to be ready to play and you've got to come out. As players, how do you make sure you're doing that? Because that's, as he said, a few weeks down the road, things get a little more real. How do you make sure that you come out from opening kickoff and you're locked in and ready to go?
I just say, I mean, just having mental that you're ready to play and just becoming ready to play. You shouldn't be, I mean, scared of no team. Just come out and play and just, you got to do your thing and just everybody else do their thing too. I feel like we just have to just put in the work. I mean, we put in the work all summer, all off season, and then putting in the work each week, and it'll show.
Well, and you guys get your chance to do it at home, finally. Friday night, 7 p.m. against El Paso Franklin. This has been the Plainsman Fan Zone. Remember, Friday nights after the games to check in to Double T 97.3 for the Friday Night Live scoreboard show with Mark Finkner and Nick Long. They cover to get you all the scores, tell you what's going on. You'll hear about these guys Friday night. You get a lot of information from 10 p.m. to midnight. We just got to get Friendship off the air a little bit earlier. I think they had to slide it over to 100.7 FM last week. This is Randy Rosetta with 100.7 The Score.